this weekend, June the 19th, 2021, on Fight.tv pay-per-view, this same platform here that's also going to be showing Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. versus Hector Macho Camacho Jr., former UFC champion Anderson the Spider Silva versus former boxing champion Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., Canelo Alvarez's brother Ramon Alvarez versus the brother and other son of Julio Cesar Chavez Sr., Omar Chavez. Now, this is relevant because at $39.99 on June the 19th, the same day that Teofimo Lopez, 16-0 with 12 KOs, undisputed, just for semantics, WBC franchise, WBA Super, IBF, WBO Ring Magazine champion, was supposed to defend his IBF title against his mandatory contender, 19-0 with 10 KOs, George Kambosos Jr. Now, a couple of days ago, what was it? It's Thursday now, 9:09 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Thursday, June the 17th. On Tuesday, June the 15th, news came out during Fight Week, by the way, when Fight Week media roundtables were going on. You may see some highlights and some footage from the media events. Fight Week was underway. Teofimo Lopez has tested positive for COVID-19. Now, let's just go ahead and talk about it. We wish him a speedy recovery. The fight is supposed to now take place on August the 14th on Fight.tv at $49.99. The undercard is going to consist of Andy Vences versus Jono Carroll, Michael Hunter versus IBF contender versus Mike Wilson, and a fight that I'm looking forward to, Franchon Cruz de Zern versus Elaine Selderus. Both of these women I've covered multiple fights for. It's going to be for undisputed at 168 pounds, even though 2 of those bouts are vacant. Hey, I'm just giving you the facts. So I find it quite peculiar, especially when I've covered boxing for years. Hundreds, maybe even thousands. I'm sorry, I've lost count. Maybe at least 1,000 fights on YouTube. Purchased thousands of dollars in fights off of YouTube. Seen dozens and dozens of fights get canceled, postponed because of ticket sales, lack of interest. Hell, here's an example. During the Mayweather versus Logan Paul media arrivals, which I live streamed here on this channel, one of the, let's say, executives from FanMeo and Team Jake Paul and Mayweather, they were talking about how when the fight was first announced and it was put on the original platform that was supposed to be FanMeo, in which I paid $25 to watch the fight. I didn't pay what you guys I paid $25. So they pretty much admitted that, well, the fight really wasn't going to happen in February, because before it happened just recently, it was supposed to happen this February, Super Bowl weekend, 2021. So they admitted pretty much, and I'm paraphrasing, that, well, the fight really wasn't going to happen. We just was saying the fight was going to happen, but, you know, we just wanted to see what the buzz was, and the buzz was there. So we contacted Showtime, you know, and said, hey, pretty much, can you help us out? So before me and Big J get into it, please take your time out, like the video, subscribe. Something seems like it's fishy and funky going on, especially with how big of a busy weekend boxing is, with this card right here, which I'm predicting is going to be the fight and the card of the night at $39.99, which is $10 cheaper than what they were offering Teofimo Lopez versus George Kambosos, despite all the concerts and all the bullshit. Still, you had a former UFC champion, the very, very super uber popular Anderson the Spider Silva, on the same card as a Mexican legend and his 2 sons, on the same card as the son of Hector Macho Camacho Sr., with the brother of Saul Canelo Alvarez. So which fight were the general public, if they were interested in, going to buy? Hardcores may have gravitated, toward Teofimo Lopez versus Kambosos, but Triller's been having a major problem with boxing streaming, illegal streaming. The pay-per-view bond model is dying. If the fight's not big enough to offset the illegal streaming, then, this fight was going to be streamed to smithereens. And it doesn't help and I'm sorry for my, long-winded monologue. It doesn't help that this fight was originally supposed to take place in early June, and Mayweather versus Lopez, despite Mayweather versus Logan Paul, despite Lopez versus Campos having a date first, Mayweather versus Logan Paul came out of nowhere and just pushed them off their date. Now on this June 19th, now soon to be a federal holiday, Juneteenth, they're now being pushed off of this date, it seems. And then so I'm going to go ahead and say that something seems a little bit fishy. I'm going to let you take it away, Big J. Where we, what's your thoughts? I mean, we were already, remember, we just did our fight week preview yesterday, the day before. We were supposed to do an original, another video talking about Teofimo Lopez. We had videos lined up, and I was going to stream the press conferences, weigh in. We were ready.
Oh, yeah, we've been ready for this for bloody, what, a month?
Yeah.
But first and foremost, let me say this. If this is legit, I wish him a speedy recovery, all that sort of stuff. I want him to be healthy. I don't want him to get sick. Because there's been reports that he's a known asthmatic or has asthma problems in the past or whatever. So I wish him speedy recovery, good health, all that sort of good stuff. Because, he's only a young kid. I don't want to see him get fucked up. But I call bullshit. I've seen so many videos today. I've seen 6 and they all say the same thing. This is just a front because the fight is not selling.
It's fishy.
And this has happened. Well, let me give you an Australian example. You remember Mundine versus Parr?
Yeah.
You did because you covered it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Originally, that was going to be in the Gold Coast Seabus Stadium, which is the home of the Gold Coast Titans, the NRL footy team. They had a 27,000-seat stadium, right? They moved it to the Brisbane Entertainment Centre, which only holds 8,000 seats. Didn't change the date, just changed the venue, right? Because of the bushfires, as you remember, that's when they started and half the fucking country burned down at the beginning of last year. So they moved the fight from a 27,000-seat stadium to an 8,000-seat arena. Yeah, that was... how could they do that if the fight was... What would they have done if they had 10,000 tickets sold to that fight? How could you move it to a smaller venue? Bullshit. Fight wasn't selling. And I'm in belief that there's three main theories out there. The first one, it's legit and he actually does have it.
Mm-hmm.
The second one is that it's a front because they're not selling the fight.
And then the third one.
And the third one, yeah, it is, and you've been saying it all last month, and I'll let you take the reins here, is that Lopez is having weight issues.
Yeah, and that right there, we have seen hardcore boxing fans. One thing I've learned about you guys, the hardcore boxing fans, is you can't put nothing past us. Especially you and the guys in the comments. So we've seen many, many times where fights would get canceled, postponed, pushed back, or stuff funny would be going on during fight week where there's fighters not showing up to media events or whatever, or media obligations, that, oh shit, they're having weight issues. So you have two factors right there. One can be the weight, and Teofimo Lopez is a huge dude. He did say he hired a strength and conditioning coach, but
and a nutritionist or whatever the fuck.
But with everything that's been going on, I was saying that if George Kambosos was to win, it would be because Teofimo Lopez loses, whether it's, outside of the ring issues. Some people may say, he was doing too much media stuff, constantly talking. If you don't know, he just re-upped and amended his contract with Top Rank. So everything is good over there. He's going to be with Top Rank ESPN. I wouldn't be surprised if it was ESPN themselves, and came in with Top Rank's help and said, with Top Rank and said, all right, we got to give this kid some more money, make sure he don't leave our platform. So right now, I'm having a hard time, and you never want to doubt anyone's illnesses. And I'm going to go ahead and say it right now. I've been through it. For the long-term viewers, you've seen me struggle where literally I was in a coma for 3 weeks. I have the scars to prove it. Having asthma and having coronavirus in the past, or COVID, or what I thought it was. I'm pretty sure it was. I'm still waiting to get my antibodies and test. The point I'm trying to make is that shit can fuck you up. So I wish him the best, but with the lack of interest, with them losing first Mike Tyson versus Evander Holyfield on the card, then them losing Evander Holyfield versus Kevin McBride on the card, you know, a fight like this was always supposed to be a regular free TV fight. ESPN, you know, Showtime Championship Boxing, hell, even the Zone, it's not a pay-per-view fight. And the undercard, my God. So Teofimo Lopez is great. He's, you know, phenomenal fighter. You know, clearly beat arguably one of the best amateurs of all time. You know, but I am not here, and excuse my language, earmuffs. You know how we do on this channel. We're not here to suck these fighters' cocks.
Fuck no.
Like it's a fishy situation, and we can't. You know, we're in a situation we can't dance around it. You know, so if you want that type of content, you can go somewhere else. We like Teofimo Lopez. We give all boxers a fair shake. It's not. I'm guaranteeing it probably wasn't him. It probably was his manager. You know, some executives from Triller. They may have had a secret little meeting, you know, said, all right, listen, you know, we're going to postpone the fight. You're having issues with weight. You know, you're probably not going to make weight. Maybe lose your belt on the scales, all of his belts. We didn't even talk about that. You know, and then the fight's not trending well either. Postpone the fight.
And let's not forget the very small global interest in the fight.
Very small. Look, even in George Kambosos' own country, they're selling the fight at a discount or half the price of what they normally sell their latest boxing pay-per-views. And he's from there.
George has got to be pissed. I feel so sorry for the poor bastard.
Yeah, let me read his before you continue. I didn't get a chance to read his statement. I have it here on the screen. It's from his, he posted on his Facebook and then posted on his Twitter and his Instagram. Absolutely devastated, exclamation point. I've been away from my kids for 13 weeks. I flew my pregnant wife over to be by my side. I put every bit of my life into this camp with my team. I would have been an undisputed champion this weekend. I know it and you know it. Your actions and decisions have affected not only your fight, but everyone involved in this fight. Exclamation point, pure irresponsibility on your whole side. Our time will come, and I promise you and the world that I'm going to take you out worse than ever for everything. You can run, but you can't hide. As hard as it to comprehend this right now, I remain focused on the end goal. I will be champion of the world. Thank you to everyone for the support worldwide. Of course he pissed. And he was talking about, you know, during, you know, many interviews that how he's been away from his family for so long. And now it's another 2 months. So here we have right here on the screen, you know, they've amended it on the Fight.tv platform. We have friends over at Fight.tv. I was supposed to do some work with them years ago. I didn't have the time. But, you know, I love the platform. I purchased many of my fights off of this platform. This is the platform you can go to where, you know, if there is any international fights that Showtime, ESPN, or the Zone doesn't pick up, then likely this platform will pick up. So it says here 58 days, 11 hours, 38 minutes at $49.99, August the 14th, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So hopefully they'll be able to use this time to build up the fight even more, and nobody comes to chase them off of that pay-per-view date. And now we're going to make the commitment here. We're going to make the commitment here right now to make sure we get George Kambosos on the phone. We've been trying before, but now we have plenty of time, and I'm going to make sure, I promise you, that we're going to do it. So, Jay, I'm going to let you take it away from here, because just thinking about it now that I've thought about all of that, you know, especially the weight thing, that he could have lost all of his belts, all of them. The whole organization, all of them fractured. They would have been all given to the different mandatories, you know. Yo, they postponed this fight, man. I don't want to not believe the COVID thing, but it's fishy. Something funky's going on.
Oh, it's extremely hard to believe. And I'm looking at the main event page now, and the George Teofimo fight's not on. Tim Tszyu versus Rafa's up, and what's that bloke's name that knocked out McGregor?
Dustin Poirier
or whatever he is. Yeah, Dustin Poirier. Yeah, Poirier McGregor 3's up. So, yeah. So that, I mean, yeah, there's just something that just is not sitting right with this. I mean, you know, and they do it like of the fight week.
Yeah.
So,
you know, I mean, they could say, well, you know, he got here, you know, and, you know, we tested him, you know, before he was about to go into his boxing quarantine, and, you know, he's got corona. Now, we haven't heard of anybody. It's just fishy. It's just fishy.
Yeah, because that was it. the other thing you just brought up, what about everyone else? Because if he's got it, he would be
His whole team, you know, everybody would have to quarantine, you know, all that bullshit.
Exactly. I mean, how many? I mean, if that happened in Victoria, in my state, they shut the whole fucking state down. So, but you know, they got to do. You know, where was he been? How's he been? Contract tracing. You know, how many people has he been around? The whole team would have to be tested. Yeah, they're just lucky they're not in Australia, because that would just that would just be bad.
Well, the good thing for us is, you know, we get a fresh start with coverage. So therefore, you know,
Absolutely.
we're going to be here. We're going to be here, you know, covering the fight. We're going to wait for the next major update. Hopefully, the next video on this subject is going to be, you know, a talk from George or possibly even Teofimo. Let's see if we can get that going, because as you can see, we've been much more consistent on the channel. I was looking at my numbers actually this morning and really planning out the rest of the month. Like, we're already, you know, up 187%. From like last month, and just like, you know, interactivity and you guys liking the video, thank you. And also those who came out to support for the Fury Wilder 3. So remember, it's going to be a very busy weekend in boxing overall, you know, this June 19th, where you're going to have Jamal Charlo defending his title. Now that this pay-per-view is not happening, I'm able to focus on all of those fights. You have Jamal Charlo defending his title against a Juan Vasiliy Matias. You're going to have Felix Sturm returning. I keep mentioning that fight because I'm actually degenerate enough to probably want to cover it. You also have Jaime Munguia, you know, returning, taking on Kamil Zermaida, the last guy Golovkin fought. And then, of course, you have this fight we talked about right here that's going to be on the same platform with, it's called the, what's it called again? The tagline, I think it's called The Kings Unite. No, Tribute to the Kings, where you're going to have Chavez Sr. taking on Hector Macho Camacho Jr., Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. taking on Anderson Silva, and you're going to have Canelo's brother, Ramon Barragan, taking on Omar Chavez, the other son of Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. So, once again, I mean, we pretty much said everything we had to say. We don't really want to, you know, make it seem like we're just bashing Teofimo. But listen, you know, when the time comes, you know, he knew, like, Teofimo's not stupid. You know, he knows how the media works, you know, and I haven't even seen the videos that Big J's been talking about, but I've seen some Facebook posts and some Twitter posts, and people are just like, yo, this shit look fishy. So we're just going to leave it right there. Please take your time out, like the video, subscribe. This is TstreeT Controversy and Big J with FightView360.com.